That's bad news. But church, every now and then, the bad news is good.
Yeah.
We hear much about the government sequester, where we stand to lose $85 billion. That's bad news. The military will have to take cuts.
Yeah.
That's bad news. Some sick individuals won't be able to get their medication.
Yeah.
Some may even die. That's bad news.
Yeah.
Some children will have to go to bed hungry.
Yes, sir.
The daddy won't get the unemployment. The church, that's bad news.
Yeah.
But every now and then,
Yeah.
the bad news is good.
Well,
We hear bad news about people breaking and entering into people's houses.
yes, sir.
That's bad news.
Yes, sir.
We hear reports of people robbing banks. That's bad news.
Yeah.
We see and hear about all the homeless people. That's bad news.
Bad. Yes, sir.
We hear reports of hurricanes
Yeah.
and tornadoes and storms. How it caused some people to lose their home because of natural disaster.
Yes.
Church, that's bad news.
Yes, sir. Yes,
But
sir.
every now and then,
Every man. Yes,
the
sir.
bad news is good.
Yeah.
Every time I see the ambulance being route,
Yeah.
that's bad news for somebody.
Yes, sir.
Every time I see Hertz wheels rolling, somebody got some bad news.
Yeah.
Every time I see our young men with their hands on the wall being searched by law enforcement, that's bad news for church every now and then. Every now and then,
Yeah.
the bad news is good.
Yeah.
And then you hear reports somebody else is dead. Somebody's in the hospital.
Well, yeah.
Something wrong with somebody else.
Yes, sir.
Like Lee Williams said, I turned to my right, trouble. But I turned to my left, trouble.
Trouble.
And I see here and here and more here and more here and more here and more here. Already waiting on me. Church, bad news.
Bad news. Yes, sir.
Every now and then, the bad news is good.
Yeah.
I don't like bad news. I don't look at the 11 o'clock news.
Well,
Because I can only stand to hear about so many stabbings,
so many. That's
so many shootings,
yeah.
so many robbers.
So,
Somebody throw gas on somebody and set it on fire. Someone put the baby in the bathtub and drown. I can't take so much bad news.
yeah.
So I don't listen. But every now and then,
Yes, sir.
the bad news is good.
Well,
The reason why we are here tonight to celebrate the bad news.
well.
Jesus
Yes, sir.
at the table with his friend.
Yes, sir. That's right.
It's called the last.
Last sir.
That's bad news right there.
Well,
Don't tell me this is my last supper.
well.
Huh? That means I'm not going to eat again. Something's about to happen, right? Huh? That's bad news right there. The Reverend Jacob knew why they call it the last supper. It was supposed to be a covered dish. Jesus said, Peter, did you bring what you supposed to bring? Peter said, no. John, did you bring what you supposed to bring? John said, no. James, did you bring what you supposed to bring? James said, no. Jesus said, that's it. This is the last supper. That's bad news. He's at the table in himself, let you know it's bad news. And he knows what's going on. He looked around at his friend. Peter will die. That's bad news. Thomas will die. That's bad news. The other betrayed.
Yes, sir.
And they had the Passover meal,
Yeah.
where they would have a dish with the broth in it. And they would take the bread and dip it in the broth.
Yes, sir.
And at the same time, Jesus had his bread in the broth.
Yeah.
Judas had his bread in the broth.
Yes, he did.
And Jesus said, the one whose hand is in the dish, that who will betray me.
Yes, sir.
And the Son of Man goes out as it is written. But Jesus was quoting Psalm 41, verse 9, my own familiar friend,
Tell me. Yes, sir.
whom I trust, who didn't eat my bread,
Well,
have raised his heel against me.
well,
Church, that's bad news.
yeah.
It's true. Jesus got some bad news.
Yeah.
But sometimes the bad news is good.
Thank you.
For you see, Jesus went down to the Garden of Gethsemane.
Yeah.
And he went down on bended knees.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
He had bad news come. And he looked down into the cup.
Yeah.
And he saw bad news in the cup. He saw a Roman army coming after him. He looked down in the cup and he saw bad news. He saw his friend giving him the kiss of death. That's bad news. He looked down in the cup and he saw the whip. Then he looked down in the cup and he saw judgment hall, the judgment hall. He looked down in the cup and he saw more bad news. He saw a crown of thorns upon his head. Then he looked down in the cup and he saw an old rugged cross. But that's not it, church. He saw more bad news. He saw a hammer in some men. I tell you, he saw bad news. And then he saw an empty tomb. Church, that's bad news. But Jesus looked down and said, Father, let this cup pass from me, for I can't handle any more bad news. But then Jesus went back again. And after he saw all the bad news, he realized that the bad news was good. Because he looked down and saw something in the bottom of the cup. He looked down and he saw a dying world full of sinners. He saw something in the bottom of the cup. He saw lost souls being saved. He saw it in the bottom of the cup. He saw a Christian race rising up. He saw something in the bottom of the cup. He saw Sunday school boys and girls in the bottom of the cup. He saw a denomination called the African Methodist Episcopal Church in the bottom of the cup. He saw a church named Campbell Chapel in the bottom of the cup. He saw a church called Mount Zion A.M.E. Church in the bottom of the cup. He saw a Reverend of Jacob in the bottom of the cup. He saw a little country preacher by the name of Jeffery in the bottom of the cup. And I heard the God, if I have to drink this cup, he had bad news, but the bad news was good. I'm glad that he got the bad news, because the bad news was good. I seen the lightning flash. I heard the thunder roar. I felt sand breakers dashing that almost conquered my soul. I heard the voice of my Savior bidding me still to fight on. He promised never to leave me alone. He died on He promised never to leave